Hi, I'm Grant, this is Dad Crafted, and this is how I upgraded this Nerf Death Trooper blaster to this Nerf Death Trooper blaster. Alright, let's go. So there are a lot of toys getting released with the run-up to Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Action figures, clothes, cereal, Baby Yoda dolls, lots of Baby Yoda dolls. One thing that I recently saw was a new Nerf blaster. It was going to be the Death Trooper blaster, which I thought was kind of funny because they already did that before when Rogue One came out. I know, because we got them. We got a couple of these on clearance before Christmas one year, probably a year after the movie came out, for 10 bucks a piece. And then the next year, one of the boys' uncles got him some more. We've got a lot of these blasters. So it's maybe a little bit excited that the new one was going to be better, an upscaled version, one with the stock and some of the other equipment that the actual blaster had. No.
Your eyes can deceive you, don't trust them.
It's the same gun. Literally the same blaster. They just changed the color a little bit. And of course, slap some Mandalorian packaging on it.
That was garbage!
I find this unacceptable. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to take this guy and we're going to turn him into a real Death Trooper blaster. Alright, let's go.
Okay, so all the extra parts for this gun are 3D printed with the exception of a couple dowels for the stock. If you don't own a 3D printer, this is the Ender 3. It's basically the cheapest thing on the market, and I think I got it on Amazon for about 220, 230 bucks or something. Definitely worth the investment. But anyway, I found all these pieces for the blaster on Thingiverse. There is a popular version of the Death Trooper blaster, but I wouldn't use that because all of the parts don't really fit exactly the way they should. There's a remix version, and whoever did that sized everything perfect, so I will link that down below. There are 15 parts in all that you need to print, but let's get past all that and get to the making after the printing. So here I'm taking the gun apart, and you have to be careful because these are all really tiny Phillips screws and they can strip out easily. You don't have to do this step if you just want to paint the gun, but I find it easier to paint all the pieces when they're all apart so everything slides and works properly, and if you want to do the little clip, you actually have to unscrew that from the inside.
Okay, so I've quickly realized that the screws coming out of here, not all of these are the same size. So these are a little bit longer that go in this piece, and some of these are short, but then I found the ones by the trigger are actually also longer. So I think I'm going to take a photo and I'm going to map out which one has short and which one has longer. I'm never going to get this thing back together. Here's the diagram I made of the gun. I did the large screws as filled in, and I left the small screws circled, so hopefully I remember where everything goes when I need to put it back together. Oh, glue. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Oh my.
So this is the point in which my former self should have stopped what he was doing and taken a picture so he knows what all the insides look like.
Where'd that come from? Maybe take a picture for reference and then figure out how much of this I can paint and not have to resolder. Don't want to resolder. Alright, so I'm just going to try to tape around some of these inner parts and not disconnect the wires. Then I will just take the whole apparatus out there, prime and paint with spray paint, and some of these pieces I'll spray paint, some of these aren't really visible so I won't bother. Hopefully I can put it all back together and none of the wiring will come loose and everything will still light up and work like it's supposed to.
Okay, reassembly time. This is where that photo that we took earlier comes in very handy, because if you don't have all the components of the blaster in the exact same spot that they were, it's not going to fire exact. With the blaster ready, let's move on to all the components we printed. Same as the blaster, I'm just using flat black primer. And here's the one component that's not 3D printed, a 3/8 inch dowel.
Okay, so one thing I realized is gotta be a little bit more exact putting this back together, because this is not working, so now I need to take it apart and figure out why that's not locking my trigger back in place. Also, I got this off Thingiverse and some of the pieces don't fit. This clip is supposed to go here, it doesn't fit. So I found the way better link. I found the better page to use on Thingiverse where somebody's revamped this to work and actually, the pieces actually fit. So there's some of these on the one that everybody likes that don't fit at all, but whoever did this other one, I'll have it linked below, they know what they're doing. Use theirs.
So it turns out I would have had to take it apart anyway, because there are some screws on the inside that you have to get out to be able to get this side piece off where we're going to put the new clip instead of this bogus clip. Also, there's this little clip thing in here that you can't unscrew. You basically have to just break it. So I used my pliers, snapped it out, and then we were able to get the piece off.
I broke it. You should fit.
One more reassembly, and then we can finally start attaching all of our pieces.
Kind of scared, but he said I could just screw right in, and if I hit the orange apparatus on the inside, it's not going to impact it, but here we go. Alright. Hopefully it still fires.
For the gluing of pieces, here I'm using some DAP rapid fuse glue. This stuff will adhere in about 30 seconds, which is ideal for this, but I will say there have been some failures as of the making of this video, so I would probably stick with some epoxy. For a project like this where the whole thing's black, there is a Weld black epoxy, and that works great. For the stock, I took my painted dowel and I cut two 6-inch pieces. 6 inches just felt right, but you can pretty much do whatever size you'd want here. Then the stock slides on. There's no need for glue on this part. It should be adjustable, but it's pretty snug. Here I switched to 2-part epoxy, and this is to attach the magnets so I can have a removable flashlight. I also used epoxy to attach the shot counter because the parts that connect this are really, really tiny. I use metallic spray paint for the barrel, and I spray this from about 12 to 15 inches away so it can kind of give it that black to silver fade look. And then I start to do some weathering. I start with gray paint, just paint it on lightly, and then wipe it off quickly with a paper towel before it can dry. Then I just switch to straight black paint and do the same process all over again.
More glue.
seal everything, I just use spray-on Minwax polyurethane. I use the semi-gloss. You could choose to paint this stuff on with a paintbrush, but I spend the few extra dollars and just use the spray. Way easier. Final component assembly, and this blaster is ready to fire.
Bam!
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
This Nerf Death Trooper blaster to this Nerf.
And
Maybe now say test fire.
test fire.
But like you're excited.
Test fire.
That didn't work as planned. Don't look down the barrel.